So we have a question from Dennis. He wants to know about dressing appropriately for a warm ship with potentially cold outside decks. Does one layer? Is there any umbrella protocol? This is a fantastic question, one that we had top of mind for months leading up to this. How do I pack and how do I dress? And so now having done it, I think I have some solid advice. So yes, one does layer, but that means something very specific. Because people have always said, "Oh, layer, layer." I maybe it's my inexperience, but I wasn't sure what that meant because that could mean thermal underwear, long pants, long sleeve shirt, sweater, jacket, etc., etc. And it's not exactly like that. No. The kind of layering you want to do is the kind of layering that you can peel off quickly, because you will experience temperature fluctuations throughout the trip, even from moment to moment. Where, like, I was perpetually wondering if I was running a fever because the last time I had felt such rapid temperature fluctuations was when I was unwell. Mm-hmm. And so, not the thermal underwear. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend a scarf. I don't think that's worthwhile. But having a regular t-shirt, a sort of a zip-up fleece thing that's a full zip, so you can unzip it in an instant, and then maybe a serious jacket on top of that, something that's maybe weatherproof. I may do with my leather jacket and a hood, but if you have like Gore-Tex, whatever, and then just, constantly be adjusting. And a toque is a very good idea because you do experience high winds, and so if you want to cover your head, the hood will get blown right off and it won't work very well, whereas the toque, if it's good fit, it'll be snug to your head, and you can also put other things on top of that. So it can go from very warm to very cold very rapidly.
Oddly, the Husky hat wound up being rather practical because it has these little balls at the end, because it's got this ear flap thing, right? And they have these little palms at the end, and you can actually tie them up together. So it was a really good wind buffer, because I had my ears covered and I was able to kind of duck into the wind quite well. But yeah, definitely what Ray says. Some gloves if you want some, if you want to use your phone and take photos and whatnot. So you want something that's touch screen friendly gloves. The ones I had were useless. So invest in some more better than one size fits all sort of stuff. I actually got a bit of a sunburn in Skagway because it got super crazy hot and sunny, and I packed shorts, just wishful thinking. And there's a number of times in Skagway when we were sitting in the Serenity deck, I was like, I wonder if I should actually go change into these. And there were people that were walking around that day in shorts on Serenity and whatnot. So, yeah, be kind of prepared for all eventualities. We were really fortunate. We didn't really have much in the way of rain, so the umbrella protocol was not really something we encountered. And when it did rain, it wasn't something super serious that an umbrella was really needed. Most people just kind of wore your outer layer, just have like a waterproof jacket, and you should be covered.
And
literally.
Yeah, and honestly, even when it was raining, I didn't see umbrellas on the ship at all. Partly because there's a wind factor.
Yeah.
And on Lido, there's a lot of windows you can see out of, and if you have an ocean view cabin like we do, or a balcony cabin, or, other parts of the ship, again, deck 2, things like that, there's a lot of window opportunities from the inside of the ship that you don't need to go outside in pouring rain for. So no one at any point opened an umbrella on the ship that I saw at all.
Not that I saw either.
Because they would just basically, either they'll have a hood and they'll just fortify through it, or they'll go run indoors. Those were sort of what people were doing. So I would say do bring an umbrella, particularly if you end up in the port and it ends up raining there, but don't expect to be using it on the ship at all. I don't think it would be practical because there would also be crowds and wind and things like that.
There were a number of times where we were tacking into 50 plus mile an hour winds. There's no way you're going to hold on to umbrella. And like there were people that fell down from the wind because it was fairly intense. And there was a couple times where I myself, who at 270 pounds, was struggling to stay upright in the wind because it was fun, but it was really intense.
I was knocked back a step by the wind a couple times myself, so it's really quite striking.